and there's really no answer, or no like clear-cut answer. Are they legal?
So why do poker owners say it's legal then?
On the morning of March 10th, roughly 20 agents from the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, officers from the Williamson County Sheriff's Office, and investigators from the IRS walked through the front door of the Lodge Poker Room with a search and seizure warrant. In an instant, the most famous poker room in Texas went dark, and no one was fully prepared for what came next. Today, we're going to break down what happened, who's involved, what the government says they found, and what this means for the entire future of poker in Texas. To understand why this raid matters so much, you first have to understand what the Lodge Poker Room actually is. Because this isn't some sketchy back alley poker den. This is a legitimate high-profile operation co-owned by some of the biggest names in professional poker. But before we can talk about what went wrong, we first need to talk about a foundational issue that has haunted Texas poker for decades, which is the law. The thing about Texas poker rooms is they have always existed in a strange, murky, legally ambiguous space. Under Texas Penal Code Section 47.04, gambling is generally illegal in the state unless it occurs in a private place, no person receives a profit beyond their personal winnings, and all players have an equal chance of winning. That's a very specific carve-out, and for years, Texas poker rooms have tried to squeeze through it. They did this by using the membership model. Instead of taking a rake, Texas poker clubs charge players hourly seat fees and membership dues. The theory is that the house isn't profiting off the game, just off the membership, so no rake and hence no crime. It's a clever workaround, and for years, dozens of Texas poker rooms operated under this exact model. Texas State Representative Jeannie Morrison even formally asked the State Attorney General to weigh in, specifically asking, are poker rooms that charge membership or other fees but do not receive a rake permitted under Texas law? The Attorney General declined to answer, citing a pending lawsuit. That ambiguity did not resolve the question, it just kicked it down the road. And the Lodge built its empire right on top of that unresolved question. The wheels of justice in this case began turning long before anyone ever showed up at the Lodge's front door. According to the 22-page search and seizure warrant obtained by Poker News, the TABC's investigation into the Lodge Card Club began as far back as June of 2024. That's nearly 2 years of watching, waiting, and gathering evidence. On June 13, 2024, a TABC agent, identified in the warrant as Agent Bell, began conducting exterior surveillance of the poker club. Bell began formally requesting bank records for the Lodge Card Club and its affiliated businesses. By the end of August 2024, those bank records were in the hands of investigators, and what they found raised some serious flags. Investigators noted that during just the first 2 months of 2025, approximately $1.35 million was deposited from the Lodge through a Loomis cash vault located inside the club into a bank account held by Tempus Holdings Incorporated, a business associated with the Lodge. The warrant states bluntly, the above listed transactions are believed to be in support of and constitute evidence of the illegal activity taking place at the Lodge Card Club. But the government did not stop at bank records. Starting on April 17, 2025, the TABC launched a full-scale undercover operation. Multiple TABC agents were given $600 each to enter the Lodge and play poker like regular customers. They played 1-2 no-limit hold'em cash games and ordered drinks. They noted the presence of security guards, the amount they won and lost, and every detail of their experience inside the club. A second visit took place on May 9, 2025. A total of 6 undercover sessions took place across several months, with the final one occurring on January 30, 2026, just weeks before the raid. During that last visit, Agent Teague even inquired with a manager about hosting a private poker game at the Lodge, presumably to probe how deep the operation went. One of the most telling details was that during some visits, agents were told they needed to purchase a membership to play. During others, Agent Teague specifically noted that he was never asked about providing proof of or the need to purchase a membership while inside the club. That inconsistency is critical because the membership fee is the entire legal justification for these clubs to exist. So what exactly is the Lodge Card Club accused of? The search and seizure warrant lays out 5 specific violations of Texas law. First, engaging in organized criminal activity under Texas Penal Code 71.02a. This is the most serious charge and the one that can carry felony consequences and implies a coordinated, deliberate criminal enterprise rather than a simple rule violation. Second, the money laundering under Texas Penal Code 34.02. The allegation that those massive cash deposits were designed to conceal or disguise the origins of illegally obtained funds. Third is the promotion of gambling under Texas Penal Code 47.03. Fourth is keeping a gambling place under the Texas Penal Code 47.04. And lastly, possession of gambling device, equipment, or paraphernalia under Texas Penal Code 47.06. These are not minor infractions. Organized criminal activity and money laundering charges, if proven, could result in serious prison time for individuals found responsible. And while the TABC was careful to note that no arrests have been made and no formal charges have been filed, the investigation is very much ongoing. To make matters worse, the lodge confirmed just 2 days after the raid that all of its assets and bank accounts have been frozen. That means it can no longer pay employees, cannot process tournament payouts, and cannot refund player chip balances, at least not through normal channels. The WPT officially postponed its upcoming Wildcard Festival, citing circumstances outside of WPT's control. Doug Polk's response was everything you'd expect from a man known for his fierce, outspoken personality. He went to X and in no uncertain terms called the government's investigation a witch hunt. It was a bold public promise that staked his personal reputation on the line. I did not participate in and still have no knowledge of any money laundering in the operation of the lodge. I understand that some people assume that because there was a search warrant, a crime must have been committed, but that's not really how the process works. A search warrant is just one step in an investigation based on an affidavit from law enforcement. But then came Tom Dwan. For anyone unfamiliar with the Polk-Dwan dynamic, there is a long, tangled history between these two. He said, and this is striking, "You made a lot of your brand out of going after people in times like this. I hope you can take a minute to reflect and realize the negatives of some of your choices." Dwan was essentially suggesting that Polk, who famously called out others in the poker world for alleged misconduct, was now experiencing what it felt like to be on the receiving end. Doug fired back, accusing Dwan of owing tens of millions in a reference to a long-running debt dispute in the poker world. Dwan said that if someone from the TABC was smart enough to reach out, then he would share some material. He added that it might be a witch hunt, so if it was deleted and an apology was made, he probably would not share it. When asked if Tom Dwan was threatening to snitch, Dwan said that there was a game integrity issue that he had asked Doug to handle for years. He said that he won't reach out himself unless Doug or someone from the lodge spazzes more. Meanwhile, others from the poker community showed their support for Doug. This is not the first time Texas has seen a high-profile poker room raid. In May 2019, Houston's Post Oak Poker Club and Prime Social Poker Club were both raided simultaneously and 9 people were arrested. The charges? Money laundering, gambling promotion, and engaging in organized criminal activity, the exact same charges we are seeing at the Lodge Club today. The clubs were accused of charging membership fees, door fees, and table fees, a business model eerily similar to the lodge's operation. More recently, in February of 2025, the Copa Club in Dallas-Fort Worth area was raided by the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department. The lodge raid is not an isolated incident. It's the climax of a year-long pattern of tension between law enforcement and an industry that has never resolved its fundamental legal status. So what does this all mean for the future of poker in Texas? Chad Holloway said that this was indeed a witch hunt, as they are essentially deeming poker in Texas illegal and therefore classifying normal banking transactions as money laundering because it's proceeds from what they say is illegal gambling. If the TABC ultimately prevail that poker at the lodge constitutes illegal gambling, it will shut down every poker room in Texas. What is clear is that the stakes here extend far beyond the lodge itself. This raid is a warning shot to every poker room in Texas and perhaps across the US that the legal gray area they have been operating in can collapse at any moment. If the largest, most publicly visible poker room in Texas can be raided and shut down overnight, so can any one of them. The poker community is holding its breath. Players want their funds back, owners want clarity. Lawmakers face growing pressure to either formalize the legal framework for poker clubs or crack down on them entirely. As Doug Polk, who has built his entire brand on the idea of accountability and transparency, now has to prove those values apply when it's his own institution under the microscope. As of this recording, the Lodge Card Club remains closed. No charges have been formally filed. No arrests have been made. The investigation continues.